Hi, this is Victor Devon, and you're listening to We Were Less the podcast. I would like to thank the financial backers of this podcast. They would be Michelle, Rob, Stormageddon, Kelly Blue, Drew, Anya Keister, and Salt City Burlesque. Thank you so much for your support, and if you would like to assist in the support, you can go to patreon.com/WeBurlesque, or you can hit me up on Venmo at Victor-Devon, or PayPal at WeBurlesque@gmail.com, or you can come to a show, which is also a really fabulous way of supporting your local artists. See you soon. Podcast. I am your host, Victor Devon, and I am in... Do you mind if I say Jersey City?
Not at all.
Okay. This is We Were Less the podcast. I am your host, Victor Devon, and I am in Jersey City, in the lovely home of neo-boylesque legend, godfather, and colleague, Tigger.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So I want to jump into... I guess what a lot of people would know you as is the first Best Boylesque title holder, winner. Mm-hmm. How do you phrase it?
Well, in the moment that it happened, it was, the first year that they did a Loud Men competition in burlesque. And that was, at the time, this was before they were called Burlesque Hall of Fame, before it was called Reigning Queen of Burlesque. It was Miss Exotic World.
Right.
That's what it was. That's the pageant. And I was like, oh, well, if I'm a man who just won this award at Miss Exotic World, that would make me Mr. Exotic World, right? Dixie, Luke, Laura? I just ran it by them, and they're like, sure. So I called it that.
Yeah.
And so for a while it was Miss Exotic World. I was, the first Mr. Exotic World, and I like that. It's a pageant. That's what you won. The king-queen thing is whatever. Hyperbole is part of our game.
Sure.
But it's also kind of ridiculous, because who are our subjects? What do we reign over? What?
Yeah.
Do we want to install a monarchy? Really?
Based on one single act, no less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a pageant.
Yeah.
It's a pageant. They saw a bunch of stuff, and they liked that one best. However close it might have been in any given year, how many different feelings the different judges have, that's how it tallied up. Boom. That's all it means. So in a way, Mr. Exotic World is probably more fitting, but, if people are out there being kings and queens, well, other people, again, I don't make up my taglines or anything. King of Boylesque was put upon me before even that competition.
Right.
Which I guess was easy to call when there weren't any of us. But whatever. It was already something some folks had said introducing me, so it's like, well, yeah, I did win that title, and if we're calling it King of Boylesque, yeah, sure. So
what year was this?
2006.
2006. The year I started, actually. So this was 13 years ago.
Yep.
And I will actually be making my first visit to Beehoff this upcoming year. One way or another.
Yeah. Great.
Yes.
Right, that's right. We were talking about that, because now it'll be more local.
It's closer. It's 4 hours from where I'm in California.
So
I'll have my car by then.
Great.
So it's always been, I've allowed it to be insurmountable. I am no longer able to make it insurmountable, so I have to fucking do it.
Yay.
So, what would I expect now versus what was it like 13 years ago?
Well, first of all, I have to say, I unfortunately never got to the Goat Ranch. The legendary, wonderful that I'd heard about. I saw photos and video and stuff like that. It was all still this vague idea, and then Dirty and Bob went out and they're like, oh my god, you guys, you have to come. I'm like, yes, but it was just a lot to figure out, wait, so we'd fly here and we'd rent a car and we'd drive to where? The middle of fucking nowhere, and then you're performing in the desert, and it's like, I'm not genetically built for dealing with, You
have a whole act about being sunburned.
Yes, indeed, from way back when. Whatever, there was a lot of challenges, but eventually I swore Julie and I hadn't gone yet, and we swore, yes, this year we will. And that was in 2004. We promised the next year we would come. And then in 2005, I was cast in a 2-man play that was opening the next week. And I asked if I could get, and you need a certain number of days off because I'm not going to do a separate flight and rent a separate car to get to the play and then turn around and leave the next day. And anyway, he's like, no, I'm going to say no. I can't spare you for any rehearsals. It's a 2-man play and neither of you leave the stage. What the fuck would I rehearse, Tigger? I was like, okay. So I missed it. Julie went, performed, was second runner-up. All this stuff like that. They all called me from Hellendale and like, Tigger, oh, hey, just, please tell me everything. And like, oh, we're having a wonderful time. Oh, you're missing so much. Actually, you appeared in all of our dreams last night. We think we understand what that means. You fucked up. I was like, okay, swear to God, I won't even take a play. Not even that. I won't. Next year I will come. And then by chance, everything fell apart. There are a lot of things going on, but they had to close down the Goat Ranch. They moved to Vegas. By chance, they opened up this category. I was like, my dream was to go there and keep knocking on the door to let me perform for Miss Exotic World. With not a dream to winning the title, but I want to perform. Yeah. I want to have just make a seat at the table. God knows I don't want men to take over this shit. I just want it to reflect a bit more of the diversity that is the human body and human everything. Anyway, and then lo and behold, crazy chance, they opened up this category. So that was lovely. That was great.
Why do you think they chose to open it up? Do you feel that they saw that there were more people out there? How many people were in your group? 3?
6. There were 6. It's gone through changes over the years. It's shrunk down. There was here they were talking about 2 back when I had years of folks, and I was like, no, you can't possibly make any category 2 competitors. Yeah. Then you have a winner and a loser no matter what you say.
That's true.
And it's just wrong. It's like, of course everyone's a winner, performing and blah 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 blah. But that's a horrible thing that you can never do to anyone. It can never be less than 3.
This is not an election.
No.
Yeah.
It was a brief blip of a moment, and they were talking about combining it with variety. There were struggles. Honestly, there weren't enough men, and the men that there weren't stepping up their game enough. They were letting themselves coast on male privilege. I personally, for several years, emailed every boylesque performer I knew, pleading with them to apply and bring their A game. We have a foot in the door, but that could become a flash in the pan. If you don't deliver, it'll be this moment. Oh, do you remember when there was this boylesque thing? It can happen. If you're not willing to show up and deliver, then that could happen. Yeah. And I, heard the stats on how many men applied versus how many women, and I get it. So it was a struggle for a few years to keep it open. Whatever. I don't know. Friends said that basically they saw me and Rocky Roulette, and they knew that we were both there and performing and going to come and going to keep trying to get in, and they should just open up a category for us. I don't know how much that was about me and Rocky. I don't know, but that's what folks said. But whatever. Yeah. There were more. It was a growing thing.
Yeah, I guess it's still a subset in the world of burlesque. The male burlesque or the male identifying.
And that's great. That's fine.
And then the question then becomes because a lot of times we'll say, what is burlesque, or what qualifies as burlesque, or what have you. And one of my favorite answers to that question is Joe Boobs, which is, well, when you're in a strip club, nobody asks that question. But everywhere else we seem sort of stuck with that. And then there's the variations and the versions of drag and the comments of masculinity, and then we have the trans experience and the non-binary experience, and the mix as opposed to the Mr. or the Miss brought in. Is your act actually is your act meant to be a Mr. act?
Right.
I think the Mr. Gorgeous, when he did the group act, actually appeared as Shoshana.
Shanana Splits, yep.
And even though he had won previously as Mr. Gorgeous, it was important for him to recognize that.
Yeah. Or even like the next year when I came to do my step down act from winning with Father McTigger, I intentionally wanted to bring Tawny the Tigress and be like, this is your boylesque winner. She's here too.
Yeah.
Knowing that at that time would almost certainly not have been accepted to compete.
When you follow up, do you... Oh, so you would have done it as a step down because you would have had that ability just to bring whatever you wanted.
You bet.
Yeah.
Your step down, no one asked. So Julie and I talked about it, and it's like, let's bring them some fucking New York City, some stuff that, like, is not at all glamorous. She did a fabulous escape routine to You Don't Own Me, and we both were like, let's give them some gritty, transgressive New York stuff. I mean, there's transgression in Father McTigger, but it's different. It came a little closer to what they imagine a man might do.
Yes.
So yeah, I think all of that. I mean, it was.
Was that the Spirit,
it's important.
Spirit in the Sky, Father McTigger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. An act which is now 22 years old.
Goodness gracious.
Like I was saying, it was important to me getting into this to open a door.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty much one of the most important things every human being can do is to open a goddamn door. So that's the thing I can do. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was a man who consciously stepped into a woman's role, a woman's world, a woman's art form, and wanted to be there. Mm-hmm. And for many years, I didn't see any other men.
And it was doing all the work that they were doing.
Yeah, and getting every bit as naked. That was really important to me. That I never stopped, at boxer shorts. The hell with that shit. Yeah. Like, if you're going to step up, fucking step up. So I wanted to do that. And I love everyone who can open another door, I think is crucial regarding the whole Mr., Miss, mix and the spectrum of gender. It is, when you think about it, kind of absurd that we have those distinctions at all. It is fucking absurd that there are Oscars given to Best Actor and Best Actress. It's acting. What the hell does it matter? Like, what someone's, perceived gender or proclaimed gender or any of that. I don't even know how the Academy deals with that, but whatever. What does that matter? It's a performance. That's what it's about. But, at the same time, that particular show was all, a P.T. Barnum, razzle-dazzle to, lure people to see the museum.
Yeah.
The reason Dixie came up with the thing was just to support the museum.
Because it's a fundraiser.
Yeah. And she knew how to get show ponies out, is give them a show. And if you give them a title, you'll get more of them, because people love that stuff. Whatever, all that. So it's all a bit of a ruse. And I get that more is more, so more categories, gives the opportunity, and you most definitely would not see many of the men performing if they had to compete with the women. That's just sheer numbers. Absolutely the case. So it's great in that sense, but I think for God's sakes, keep a sense of humor about it and expand it. As long as we're saddled with these ridiculous gender distinctions, let's show how broad the range of so-called boylesque can be. Expand it as much as possible. And expand this exotic world as much as possible. I really want to see, all kinds of people.
All kinds of people.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's a matter of reflecting what the work is.
Yeah.
And if you live in a microcosm of one style or one type or one body or one other person's decision about what genitalia means, even, then you're stuck. And in a transgressive field, that feels wrong.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think it is essential to burlesque that it's transgressive.
Yeah.
Like transgression, subversion, mischief. If that's missing,
what are we doing?
I don't know that I want to. I mean, you can call it burlesque if you want. Don't know that I want to come to that show.
Yeah.
So.
What was the act that you won with?
Father McTigger.
Father McTigger.
This guy.
And so you then came back with Tawny?
Tawny the Tigress.
And how do you feel you were responded to?
They were great. The crowd was great. It was a funny thing. That's the one year they experimented with this idea that the step down of every winner from 2006 would perform after all the competitors. So it was a long Saturday night. So you'd see the competing duos, and then you would see Trixie Monkey's winning duo, and you would see all the Boylesque, and then you would see me,
right.
and then you'd
this
see
is what you gotta live up to,
and
folks.
then see Julie.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So there were a couple people who were like, "Oh my gosh, you should have won," and it was like, "No,
I wasn't up for it."
Thanks, but I did. It's
Can't win again. Can't win again.
And I don't want to. I mean, whatever. There's been that talk too. About letting people come back. Because in the 90s,
right.
Catherine D'Lish won twice, Stephanie Blake won twice. But it was a smaller thing then. It was the folks who came out to the desert and did it. And
they treated it more like the Oscars, where you can win 2 Oscars, or you can win 4 Oscars.
Or I don't know. It just sort of happened.
Because then it also, again, becomes performance as opposed to an individual.
Yeah.
Because you won for a performance as an individual. And I think thereafter, because that was, 2006 you said?
Mm-hmm.
All the things you've done since then, and what you've meant to people since then, and what our idea of who Tigger is based after that. So really, your career for a lot of us started after that. and because you were, as you said, when we were talking before, you were performing for like dozens of people as opposed to in front of so many more other burlesque performers or more stages that were accessible.
Well, we'd reached, I think by that point, we'd reached hundreds, but, and I'd performed in other cities, but not on this global.
On that sense.
Scale. Yeah, I had not yet. That was people from other countries' probable introduction to me.
Into that. But again, so many of us, since we weren't there for it, we only know of you as it's sort of ephemeral to us. The fact that you won that. And it just sort of makes sense. There's so many other fabulous performers of all genders who have either never competed, but we still put on such a put such a respect on.
Absolutely.
And that's
Waxy Moon comes to mind immediately.
They've never come for it?
No, and it was a few years before of Waxy applying before they were let in, and I think it was this learning curve. It was like, it takes work to open that door. And people were like, but is that Boylesque? And it's like, you should be grateful that you're asking that question. That's a good thing. We should, we should always stop and oh, I guess I was taking some things for granted.
Right.
Which is always the biggest block to creativity anyway. Ask yourself, what are you taking for granted?
Right.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
And then you've got a whole new world of things you can create or appreciate.
I was very resistant to the word Boylesque, or the term, for a number of years. I hadn't heard it when I first started, because I started in a bubble in Jersey where I didn't even know Hell's Kitchen in Newark was having stuff. I definitely didn't know the New York scene. I had heard of Dirty Martini, but interestingly enough, I had heard of Dirty Martini through Margaret Cho. I hadn't even heard of...
Right.
Yeah.
Who was hosting that year in 2006? Margaret actually introduced me when I competed, and I believe announced my name winning.
Oh, there you go.
I think. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's great. So your experience was a little like ours.
I see a lot of parallels. A lot of parallels.
You got to kind of make it up without all these outside influences.
Yeah. In interesting structure, because we were convention based. So we weren't necessarily, and we felt, I don't know, it was it was very strange and very restricting, but we felt free as hell. We didn't know what was to come. And so when somebody referred to me as Boylesque, I was like, I think I was very defensive, because it felt like othering. It felt like I wasn't working as hard as everybody else,
right,
or that I wasn't doing the job. And I think they said it in a positive way.
Sure. I think people generally are.
Nobody's saying, oh, that's just fucking Boylesque. Right. I don't know. And if they are, then I don't know those people.
Right.
And I just it took me a minute. And then to hear it said as often as I did it by people that had not only embraced but helped coin it and help, preserve it as a term, I got more comfortable with it, and it's a really good marketing term.
Yeah.
It tells you what you need to know. It's up for debate. It's up for discussion about what it is, as we said. But yes. But then again, so is burlesque.
Exactly.
We say all the freaking time, what is that and what does that mean?
Yeah. And honestly, definitions are the least interesting part of almost every art form.
We love a label.
But I mean, speaking of coining and marketing, this was, after all, pre-Google. I thought I made up the word because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
And just hype. It was like I was coming up with 30 and Julie. I'm not going to say I'm the best. I'm not. I'm just like
early.
But looking around, I was the only man I saw stripping in a burlesque sensibility with like that kind of storytelling and silliness, and like I just saw no one for years. So I was like, well, I can claim that. So I just started like billing myself as, New York's premier burlesque performer or whatever and stuff like that. And it's like,
you can get away with things like that. Add a little.
I'm the only one, so I guess that makes me. And then of course, then I realized that burlesque was most definitely. There was a burlesque review in the 70s, and there was burlesque performed in the 30s, and I mean, it's been around.
Yeah.
Forever. And like with POCs, men in burlesque just have a more hidden history.
Yes.
You have to dig it up. That's not going to be, the celebrated thing.
Right.
The biggest stars often were ones that would appear as women.
Yes.
And, and then strip down. But even then, you just have to dig more to find it. But we were there.
And that's why, I guess,
faggots and badass women have a long history together, and we have supported each other and been there for each other in a way.
And you just keep doing that.
Yeah.
And not forget that that's a necessary component.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So what do you, as the premier burlesque New York performer, how do you explain yourself, Tigger? How do you explain all this?
I don't know. What do you mean by that? I'm happy to let other people.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that too. I would rather somebody else explain.
I didn't come up with my own name or
my
taglines. I mean, I know I have very strong feelings about what I'm doing, what my mission is, what my acts are seeking to do, and what they're about. But I know that the final word is the audience.
Yeah.
And they're going to make up their own stories about what that act was about. And it's, honestly, I don't get to own that.
So that's a very giving perspective in terms of this is what I got.
Realistic.
Yeah.
That's art.
Yeah.
But
there's also, but you're also taking it with a responsibility that you are the one who's putting it all together to make it be perceived.
Yes, and especially if you want to do acts that are like transgressive and cutting edge and envelope pushing and all that stuff like that is often attached to me and that I love, you have to take on the responsibility of that. If you want to go there, you better be prepared to go there. You better really carefully craft your shit if it's edgy, if it's touching on something icky or uncomfortable, or if you're going to like burlesque the elephant in the room that needs addressing, be aware that you're taking on that.
Yeah.
Like, don't just go in to shock and go, fuck you, I don't care. Like,
care.
Yeah.
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 Have a job.
And think about it a lot.
Yeah.
But then, even after that, be aware, like, people might be challenging you. I've certainly had that. People challenging, my performance and what they think it says, and I am prepared to defend my right to present, and I will, if they need words, I will explain to them where it came from and what it's about as I see it, but ultimately, I don't get to own their interpretation.
It's true.
It's just reality.
We're performing either in bars or in theaters or in clubs or what have you. We don't get to have the audio commentary as we do it to explain. And this references such and such.
Yeah, and we shouldn't. I mean, really, it shouldn't be like that.
But
It's not a term paper.
No.
So,
but
if people recognize footnotes, great.
Yeah.
Bonus points for you. But you shouldn't have to read fucking footnotes when
do you think that's on? So that's on the performer to give you the full experience.
To make a full experience, whether or not that plays ever. I mean, that's my approach when I see Nerdlesque.
Mm-hmm.
I often don't know the shit they're referencing. So what's interesting to me is how well does it play to me when I don't know this, when I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Right.
Sorry. I'm not hating it, just haven't. I don't know. There's a lot going on out there in the world.
But you still have to sell me on it while you're on stage.
Yeah. And no matter what your thing is, like, does it play?
Mm-hmm.
Does it play? And fine, bonus points for people who get it, but it should play to someone who knows nothing. And again, that's part of what I wanted to do anyway, is perform for people who didn't study theater, who didn't, have my life experience, who weren't, short, red-haired, left-handed, faggot merit scholars from the Midwest. Whatever.
That's not everybody?
No, apparently not. But whatever. Like, who cares? Yeah. I'm trying to, give a very, very, very specific personal take on things and find some way that hits a common thread.
Yeah. So... And also, there's a responsibility, I guess, to keep up with what's going on socially and what's going on politically, because how we may have felt 13 years ago, or how we may have felt even 10 or 5 or 2 years ago.
There are acts we all did back in the day that we will not do now.
And you're very glad there wasn't
that is absolutely that needed to happen.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about that. We did it then. We were sincere, and there was no ill intent. And maybe if we didn't put it out there, then there wouldn't be the conversation to put it away. I feel badly for any feelings people might have had as things were being burlesqued. That's no longer on the table.
Yeah. Folks still do a lot of stuff, though.
Oh, yes, they do.
Folk are still challenging.
Well, and you gotta work it out. There's not a set rule book. Mm-hmm. It is not a clear thing always. I mean, we are supposed to go there to challenging places. We're supposed to thumb our nose at a lot of things and challenge conventions.
But it has to be authentic. Yeah. It has to be worth it.
Yeah. And do you have a right to that particular story?
There's a lot of time, because again, a lot of the issue is how sloppy.
Yes.
And this is cultural appropriation. This is elements that touch on either race or gender or things that you may not have a claim to, either on the surface or in general. And I think it's always very interesting to see performers who may have a claim to it, but that's not necessarily that's not what they gravitate to as performers.
Yeah.
I know trans performers, they're like, I don't want to do an act where I'm trans every
oh my God, no.
act. That's
endless movies about it being.
And also, what does it mean to be trans in every act? You know what? I'm a trans person. I'm doing this act. That's this act.
Yeah.
And I think, I talked to my mom about this. She enjoys burlesque, but she didn't. I think the last thing she gets is women in gown and gloves stripping. She'll take a political act, she'll take a reference, she'll take any of that, she'll take a story time or a character study, but just a woman handling herself in a way. And I was like, you have to understand, that's a political statement, because a woman deciding to do that, a person of size deciding to do that, a trans person deciding to do that, a person of color deciding to do that, that's all really, really important.
Absolutely.
It's not just pretty.
Yeah. And any woman owning her sexuality here and now, a woman having fucking autonomy right now is incredibly topical and political and important.
Mm-hmm. So how do men fit into the current toxic culture that we have? Do we have responsibility as entertainers, as artists, to not be, the stereotypical male villain or the ass grabber or the Lothario? How do we play with those tropes and not be misogynistic and shitty?
Oh my god. Well, I mean, first of all, there's the difference between who we're being on stage in an act and off stage. And off stage, you know, be fucking decent human beings. I mean, that's just period. Always. There was never a time that was not.
True,
like,
yeah.
You just have to do that. And I do think always respect the fact that I chose to enter a woman's world. It was a beautiful relief to step outside the patriarchy and move into a matriarchy. That was a dream and felt like freedom to me. Because, as I was saying before, badass women saved my life. Without question. And I certainly recognized very early on that misogyny and homophobia are the same hatred. So, I mean, we have a lot in common. There is a thing that we can address that absolutely speaks to some of the same problems. I just know my side. And if I start to try to speak for women, then I'm fucking up. That's going beyond. But I think it's important for all of us to be a part of it. If men weren't performing on that stage, then they're off the hook. And that was part of the original thing. I didn't want like men to be able to come watch all these, like, of all kinds of body types and stuff like that, but never be confronted with a man as an object. With a man, like, showing his entire body, yes, including his penis, and making it a punchline, and opening themselves up to judgment and ridicule and all the things that come with it, because men are so rarely confronted with that. I really wanted, and everyone in the audience, not just the men, but everyone to see that.
Yeah.
You know, I, too, am an object of whatever. Scorn or derision or respect or humor or whatever the hell you're going to put at it. I can't.
It's not about me taking this stage time away from a woman. It's about me taking the stage for the audience and seeing what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all we can do is, you know, give our stories. It gets tricky when you start, you know, shutting down other people's stories, or you try to tell a story that's not yours.
Doesn't make any sense.
To tell.
Doesn't make any sense. And the audience knows that. I mean, I know that we talk about the sensitivity of the current
which has its pros and cons. There's a lot of necessary learning that I had to do.
Yeah.
Some growing up and all that. And there's also a strong current of censorship that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would just like folks to kind of make room, really see an act before they judge it, and, you know, all kinds of things. And yes, there's places you can't go. Supposedly, that, you know, the outside world is telling us we can't go, that we need to. So it's like working out which rules are important to break and which ones are important to respect. And it's not, some of them are in an area where you might have to spend a little time exploring that. And maybe there's a way you can break that rule and a way you definitely can't.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times the how decides whether it's acceptable or not.
Do you think that you're an autobiographical performer, or do you take on stuff that you're basically writing as you draw?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, I come from theater.
Yeah.
You know, acting like a stripper 27 years, but actor all my life. Yeah. Major in theater and, you know, taught theater, teach it, whatever, all that. So I create characters. That's the way I tend to make an act. You know, we're all storytellers, and I tend to make a character to do it. That
usually per act
allows me, yeah. Although some collect several. I initially you know, I've had attempts that didn't work. A failure, I would definitely say. For instance, that I realized I couldn't do, but Tawny the Tigress can do this. And this act I used to do was almost there, but if I give it to Father McTigger, that gives a little extra context that's interesting to me. So there are some characters that have built up a stable of like a half dozen acts or something other. But for the most part, initially I create a new character for a given act. And then over years they might grow and get more stuff in their arsenal. But all of those characters come from me. So, you know, I mean, we all do the hard work of figuring out who the fuck we are every day throughout our lives, and that is a constant challenge and sometimes embarrassment or whatever, and we deal with it, and we keep trying to work it out, and I keep struggling to be more and more myself. But all these, ridiculous characters I create, they came out of me. So I can't pretend there's not me in it. There's some measure of autobiographical. Not everything my characters say is something I personally would say. Father McTigger, for all his perversions, is a representative of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So his prayer says things I definitely don't believe, but representation doesn't equal celebration. If you can recognize what's being satirized in it, then you can get it. But I think that's one of the things that people get touchy on. That you can't...
Right, because I think we expect us, when we see a performer, that everything they're saying is a mission statement.
Yeah.
Everything they're acting as, that's what they want in the world.
Yeah.
And there is a difference, I guess, when you choose which things to touch on. And some things, for different audiences, and there is, I guess, responsibility. And I guess since we're not famous, we don't have press conferences, and we don't have publicists. We don't
have... This is
as
close as we get to a press conference here
basically.
Now. Yeah.
Well, that and Facebook posts that apologize for what we did.
Yes.
Things like that. I mean, we have our own. We have ourselves, and we have the people that may support us, or the people that may have our backs, or the people who what they think get it. But sometimes you read the room wrong. Sometimes you do the wrong thing, and sometimes you're wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just wrong.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And you might have had the best of intentions,
Yeah.
and it just didn't play the way you thought it did, and that happens. But I think the specific I was speaking of it is the meaning of satire, of burlesque.
Yeah.
I mean, I stand behind what every act I'm doing says, but there are, in the spoken word acts, there are words that the character is saying that are absolutely not what I think. You have to look at the whole thing and what is being satirized. When you take it all in, what is that really saying?
Right. I think the complexity of satire in today is that we are living in satire.
Yeah.
But it's not funny. So a headline in the New York Post could be very much the same as The Onion.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times when we do satire, when we're punching at certain things, it's almost exhausting. Like, I don't want to see another Trump act.
Yeah.
I've had two or three people submit for my show, and I'm like, to be perfectly honest, I'm not.
Agreed.
I'm not into it. I appreciate that this is how you're channeling it. I appreciate that that's important. I don't want to see it. I'm sorry. I've seen 2 or 3, and that was good enough, and they were good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at anybody who does it. I'm good. Yeah. And I don't necessarily want to have my audience. It's not necessarily. I don't want to go so far as to say that it's inviting trauma, but it's inviting an audience to suddenly not have fun. And they're not. There's no point in satire if we all aren't being challenged by it. We are, what's the joke? Oh, he's an asshole? Yeah, we know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that is...
good.
Is definitely... I used to talk about that because I used to have one Bush act. I have never made a Trump act because
They were good.
And you have to craft an entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not an entertainment, it can be dark. It can be twisted. It can be wrong. There's all kinds of things it can be. But if you haven't crafted an entertainment, maybe it's a little too fucking raw. Maybe you say that for your therapist.
Yeah.
And, if you're going to inflict that on an audience, then you should be paying all of those therapists instead of them paying you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got to have some space to be able to make a burlesque of it that is an entertainment, that has some measure of, however dark the humor might be, some measure of humor.
Yeah.
That does have to be in there. Or you've failed your important statement.
It's also there's nothing subversive if that's the general feeling of everybody in that room either.
Yeah.
Like it's already we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Well, exactly. That was the time back when I was making the Bush Act, which was something, and I thought about it a lot. And I was like, one, I don't really like impersonation for myself. I create a character. I've been hired to would you be whatever, Billy Idol or something like that? And it's like, how about, would you be Iggy Pop? Like, how about if I live this and this and this, but I create a character that might reference that, but no, I'm not an impersonator.
Yeah.
I just, whatever. That's a different skill, and it's not one that interests me. Sorry.
No, but it since it is a skill, leave it to the craftspeople who can handle that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With much respect for them, it doesn't interest me to do that myself. So there was that, but there was also the thing that would have been so easy back then to get up there and be like, I'm an asshole, I don't care, I wipe my ass with the Constitution, I'm collecting dollars and killing people, whatever. I could say all this stuff, and it wouldn't change anything.
It wouldn't even make anybody feel better.
No.
Yeah.
No. And so the struggle for me was, for all my characters, one, I'm just in general not too interested in winners winning. That's not remotely connecting or engaging or fun for me. But watching losers struggle, that to me is burlesque. That's life. That's theater. Everyone can relate to that.
It's
we
protagonists.
all understand being a loser. And if you can, present that and their efforts, their journey, that's a story that I care about. That matters. So if you come at any character, I have a lot of losers and a lot of characters with problems because I enjoy that.
Outsiders.
Yes. I enjoy working with flaws and obstacles, but I don't treat any of them with contempt ever. And that's important. That's a shutting down. That's closing a door. And that's wrong. So even with my Bush Act, which, thank God, I finally got to retire. I really thought I was putting it to bed in 2004, and I didn't touch it for a year because it was just too painful to even think about it. But whatever. The challenge was to imagine that he really loves and cares about the country, and to imagine, which is possible, to imagine that he really thinks he knows what's best.
Bad people think
which
they're
is
good.
Possible.
Bad people think they're
good. And then...
Or right. I shouldn't say that bad people think they're right.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Sure. Yes. And then, I allowed all of that stuff. Let's say, he loves and cares about this country. He's doing what he thinks is best. He thinks he knows the right way to go. And then the fantasy comes in with him realizing what he's done and realizing he has to step aside, that there's this horrible, the relationship's all gone wrong with America and he needs to break up. Cue Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You, boom. And do it that way. And that way I actually had conversations with people who voted for Bush, which isn't necessarily the goal, is the conversation at the bar afterward, but it happened. And if I started with, I'm an asshole, that
shut it off.
Yeah. And it most definitely was not pro-Bush by any means, and perhaps it did involve a chimp mask at the end, but there was at least some measure of respect for, they meant well.
Yeah. That of course then brings in the impact versus intent aspect. Sometimes intent means fuck all.
Yeah.
So
frequently.
Yeah.
But at least you've got to make some kind of human connection. And honestly, I don't know how to make a human connection with that person.
No, I've only ever seen Max where he's a monster.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't have a brilliant idea of how to flip that script, and
you don't like impersonating real people.
No, or whatever he is. No.
of the first male burlesquers that I had a name for. I didn't know any when I started. And then when I started to research, again, even though it was 2006, that was eons ago in terms of technology.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I remember when I first started talking with people, who are like, maybe we'll get on Wikipedia. Because it was like, that was a new, exciting, like, who the hell knows? Having no sense of notability or longevity for, And so that was roughly around the time that was. So I was able to look up, I think when I searched up neo-burlesque, which I probably found from just looking up burlesque, first photo I ever saw with the term neo-burlesque was Dirty Martini against a spiderweb.
Yes, the Zorita act.
That is...
I'm proud to have been the hand.
Oh.
The spider. Some. Julie's done it, I've done it,
But that was the photo that was on the wiki page. It might still be, who knows. And so I would learn, and then I would find out people. I think I first heard then, I heard of who Johnny Pork Pie was, but still very few, like, guys. Yeah. And then I eventually saw you in Pretensione, which was one of the Pork Pie shows.
Pinch Bottom.
Pinch Bottom.
Yeah.
And I saw Matt Fraser, who was fascinated by such a striking, handsome gentleman who has such a great sense of humor and such a great sense of self.
Brain. And yeah.
Also the show where I met Lux Lacroix for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Joe Boobs do her International Lover act. Like, these are like it was such a perfect show. I think the first burlesque show that wasn't mine that I ever saw was Margaret Cho's at Zipper Factory.
Sensuous Woman, yeah.
Which is when I saw...
Was that when Joe and I were in it? Or
no, I saw Dirty.
Right.
I saw Dirty.
Right.
I saw Dirty Martini do the American act, the Justice.
Patriot Act, yep.
It's a great title. It's a great name. And maybe something else. I don't remember what else she may have done, because I think everybody did two.
I think one.
Only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we stepped in, we were like, Joe and I were replacement cast for some folks, and we had
just other one? Okay. Oh, that's what it,
she did.
They were in the intro.
Lover, and I did.
They were in the intro. They all came out and did fan work, and then brought Margaret in. That's
sure.
Right,
the group stuff.
And then Kelly from Shoes fame was
in
it.
Yes.
And a bunch of Celine Luna.
That was so wonderful.
That was so good.
Who was part of Velvet Hammer way back when?
Way back when?
She was one of the groundbreakers in LA burlesque.
I think
Pleasant was also in it, who introduced Margaret to burlesque. Margaret came and was studying belly dancing with her, because Pleasant, as Princess Farhana, has done that. But like many of us, she has many sides, and then she's like, what's this other thing? Burlesque?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a really fascinating, just like learning it, not backwards, but sideways. Because I was coming in at a certain point, I didn't know the history. Actually, that's the funny thing is, I only knew the history and the very right now.
Sure.
I didn't know anything in the middle.
That's for
because I knew Gypsy Rose Lee and Sally Rand, and I knew the floor show in Rocky Horror, and the musical theater, and cabaret, and all that.
Yep.
And then I knew right now, which right now being 2006. So to have met all of you, and to know that there was all this happening before me and before my awareness of it has been really fascinating. Would you ever consider doing like a memoir or something like that? I know a book is an undertaking.
It's an undertaking. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've read a lot of folks' memoirs, and I have immense respect for the ones that worked and why they worked, and immense affection for some that didn't work as well. So, I'd want it to be one of the ones that worked. I don't know. Meantime, I'm happy to tell stories.
Sure.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tales.
Yeah.
From your cities.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
When do you have any? I mean, I remember also when I turned 30, that I had a certain the way I was living and the way that I broke my perspective. I was like, oh, I only have so much time. I need to focus on this now because I only have like what 10 years. Who knows?
Sure.
Yeah, who knows? And I started working with people in their their 40s and 50s and beyond, and like, oh right, there is no timetable. The timetable is whatever I give it.
Yeah.
Do you see in your trajectory an end to all of this for you?
My death.
Do you want to die on stage?
I used to.
Uh-huh.
I used to. I mean, my major was theater, but minor was French, and I had studied both of those a lot. And in high school, when I learned that Molière died on stage in Le Médecin Malgré Lui, whatever, is basically playing a hypochondriac who dies on stage. It was just so freaking mind blowing. I was like, oh my god, that's perfect, that's beautiful, and for a million reasons, stage has always been home. That is my altar. That is my church. It is hallowed ground. It is home. It is sanctuary. It's everything. And Dr. Footlights has cured many, many ills in my life. So it seemed sort of perfect until, I believe it was the 2010 Burlesque Hall of Fame Legends Night when Tempest Storm fell on stage. It was maybe as much as 90 seconds tops where we just were frozen. I have no idea because time really expanded then. It felt like forever. We all just stopped. The drummer didn't know what to do. The music kept going, so the drummer kept playing, but it was like, oh my god, help me. And we're all like lost for a moment. Like, did we just see the most famous living, golden age burlesque stripper stop living?
Yeah.
It was the most horrible feeling. Obviously, she did survive, but, ambulance came, show stopped, the ambulance came, took her away. She didn't perform like that again at all. A lot happened. But at that moment, I was like, actually, that was a horrible feeling. I think that's rather selfish and cruel to put that on an audience. No one should see someone die in a show. That's awful. So, but, maybe backstage. I'm often the last one, sort of packing up, because I like to there's that control part again, I like to put everything together and do my little inventory and get things, tearaway pants put back together and everything folded. And
you make it ready for the next time.
Yeah.
In the dressing room.
Yeah, because I know that it's often a panic.
Oh, yes.
Getting there and getting the shit together beforehand.
I'm awful to future Victor.
Well, I try because I know how challenged future Tigger can be. I try to do this for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, in that moment, I would be okay with that. With dropping dead then, having done a show backstage.
Even if it was not even
stuff together.
I mean, the perfect show, or are they all the perfect show? What's
perfection? Well, or as Taylor Mack says, perfection is for assholes. Don't know if that's even what we're shooting for. I don't know that any night is perfect, but several have been sublime. That would be great. I would hope that it was a good show. Yeah. But I mean, so many are. I mean, I try every single time before I go on stage. That's one of the biggest things I do is just drop it all. You work your ass off beforehand to get it right. And then when you go out, you don't work. You fucking play. It's called a play for a reason. Just go. And I try to make myself drop all that, drop all the overthinking, overanalyzing, over-directing, drop it, and let's just go. Yeah. Let's live and see what happens. So I feel like as long as that happens and you're open to whatever an audience is actually giving you and really trying to receive what they're giving you, that keeps 22-year-old X feeling younger. Yeah. Thank God. But it also opens up for all of so many shows to feel really special and wonderful in their own way. if you're not holding it as like some ladder or
Yeah.
a bar, like this must be executed like this. And yes, of course, I beat myself up when certain things go wrong.
Even still?
Of course.
Good.
Of course.
Good. That's good to hear.
But I do try to remember.
I don't want you to feel bad, but
No.
it's a good human trait for someone who's been doing
yes.
this long as
Oh
good.
my God, there is none of us.
Yeah.
I mean, the best of the best are riddled with insecurities and self-sabotage and all that, and we just you learn to like try to shut that down.
Yeah.
Like put that in its appropriate small place. I know I'm never going to get rid of it, but I can dial down the volume and keep a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember, like what I was saying, that like the audience doesn't know your perfect plan.
Yeah.
They just want a good time. And even the audiences who've seen it before, guess what? Tonight you get to see Father Tigger the night that he forgot to load the rosary, which happened. And, what can you do? You just live. You just roll with it. And it's like, I remember that. I'll remember that night forever. The night that the music just stopped. Well, there's been several of those, but whatever. And you just see what happens.
Yeah.
Every fuck up is an opportunity if you let it.
Yeah.
And it can be so memorable. And the audience will buy that it was meant to happen because that's their inclination to think, oh, but then that gradual realization, like, wait a minute.
I'm getting exclusive.
I don't think this was meant to happen. And there's like kind of a nervous titter, like going on, like, because they don't want to laugh at your misfortune. But then if you're not giving them misfortune, then they feel more free to laugh if you're not having a meltdown. And if you can cover a fuck up, great. But if you can't, like, fucking share it.
Yeah.
And let this night be its own thing. Let that happen. That can be wonderful. And in the moment, it's hell.
Yes.
But I have had that experience where it's like, a while from now, I will dine on this story. This will be something I will look back on fondly. And there are people that have stopped me on the street that remember a night of like a ridiculous fuck up at La Mama in 2006 or something or other. And I remember that. I remember exactly the show. And I can't do that with all the times the act went the way I thought it would. Mm-hmm. For the life of me. I can't do that. That one I remember. So, that's wonderful. That's special and rare. So.
Yeah, and they live like in their own special infamy. And again, hundreds, if not dozens, of people know it. So it's also like a beautiful little secret. Yeah. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, just to keep doing stuff. And I mean, with burlesque, I've long ago thought, I started doing this in my 20s and never thinking I would even be doing it for a year. It was a lark. I didn't know. I sure didn't expect to be 54 and stripping. I thought it was already humorous that I was allowed a piece of stage to get naked on. And it just gets more and more. So, hey, I was saying, sex and humor are both part of it. So maybe the sex part goes down a little and the humor quotient goes up. That's fine with me. That's still a show. And I have
You can still do the jump splits, can't you?
So far. I'll keep doing them until
you terrify people for 90 seconds.
I have been saying to Julie and Dirty forever, it's like, you probably will be there that night. Some night I might go down in the jump splits and not come back up.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Let it play. Don't step on my moment. But if you're really sure I'm not happening and you felt like the applause or laughter or panic, whatever, crest, then would you please just drag my body off stage? I'm not seeking that post Tempest Awakening. But I sure do want to, I don't know, I want to keep performing. And honestly, if it's called burlesque or theater or performance, I don't even care what they're calling it at that point, or if the nature of what I'm doing shifts. Mm-hmm. I just want to make performing arts.
Do you think you'll always be in the New York, Jersey area?
Oh, yeah. I am amazed that I made the leap, and 10 years ago would have been hard to make the leap to New Jersey, but it took a time because I grew up holding my breath to run away to New York. But I had 28 years living in Manhattan, in downtown Manhattan, and I have reached a place, like I was saying, it's our job to find out who we are there's a lot I have left to learn, but I have learned I am a motherfucking New Yorker, and I can go wherever I want. I am that.
Mm-hmm.
I know my connection to that, and it can span the Hudson River just fine.
Just so fine.
And I am a New Yorker and a New Jerseyer, and I am very happy about both of those things. It's great.
Yeah.
But actually, like, you know, the whole reason for moving was a lot about my marriage and my wonderful husband wanting a real garden, not a deck garden, like a yard and a house. And I wanted 24-hour public transit access to my shows. Mm-hmm. So we just worked out what we could do. And I was willing to stretch that cord. I ain't cutting it.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
But you love to travel. You love to go places.
Yes.
I think one of the most famous looks of you is you walking Life Ball as that daisy.
Oh,
or sunflower.
Yeah, sure. Well, it was kind of Daisy Chain was the joke of the chain. So Daisy Sunflower. Labels. Who knows? That flower might still be figuring herself out. She might not know her flower identity just yet. She's exploring. She's flower fluid.
She's pollinating.
Yeah. Yeah, no, please. I mean, New York is a long-term relationship, but it's necessarily an open relationship. Like, it's important to go have these little flings with other places so that we don't drive each other insane. And then I am always thrilled. It really does mean something to come back home. And I do get a little verklempt, like seeing the skyline from the plane. And it's like, back. Yeah. But I do remember leaving, like, when I first moved here, like, going back to Chicago and feeling guilty coming back to Chicago, like,
I abandoned
there's
you.
There's someone else. I think we need to have a talk. And, you know, or whatever, all kinds of stuff. I get very relationship with my home.
Where are some of your favorite places that you've been to?
Well, I'm going back to Berlin in October, and it's been since 2011 or 12. I forget, somewhere in there since the last time I was there. And that's a wonderful, amazing place in the world. Top other city, Paris. When I finally got to, again, French minor and Président du Club Français and all that shit. When I first went there, I was writing postcards that, you know, there are two cities in the world, Paris and New York, and there are other wonderful places to visit, period. Like, that, Paris forever and ever and ever. But so many places. And I am not at liberty to say, but later this evening I'll be discussing headlining a new festival in a country I've never yet been to, which is super thrilling, and it's far, 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 far away.
Far, far, far away.
So, yeah. So that's all, like, really fun. I love that. I love the exploration. And the other, I mean, one is this whole fabulous thing, but also going to places like, you know, recent trips to, like, Brazil and Chile, where it's young. It's a new movement, and it's so exciting. I mean, when I get to do that anywhere, like Edmonton's first burlesque festival or whatever, Toronto's first, all kinds of places I've been to for the first ones, and it's like, this is new here. Like, you can create this any way you want. You don't have to listen to us. You don't have to look at anyone. Like, it feels like New York in the 90s. It's like, oh, you get to, like, just let it go and make your own scene.
Yeah.
And that feels exciting and important, and I feel like one of the most important things I can do is, like, just give them permission and remind them, like, sure, study a lot and learn a lot, but you're not beholden to do it the way I think or anyone else. You don't need to look to the U.S. or England or anywhere else for how you make your burlesque. This is your story.
Do you carry that into, because you're also an instructor?
Yeah.
And you've taught both independently and at festivals and at the School of Burlesque. A, what do you focus on? What is your focus? And B, do you carry that thought into while instructing?
Yes. I mean, whatever that says about me, if I'm a bullshit artist or deep or both.
Right.
But there's a lot of philosophy and theory. I mean, I've taught a range of classes, and sometimes it might be a specific skill like lip sync, but what it always is, my main one that I do, that I'm most asked to do and most enjoy to do, is fuck 'em in the heart, acting for burlesque. And that's what I come from. And I taught acting back when I was taking grad classes. I would teach acting one at my college or whatever. I mean, that's what I come from, and that's what I know, and it's how I look at burlesque.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that is a thing I have a right to, like, I can do this. But with any of it, I always feel like the best thing I can offer any student, performer in a workshop or class or whatever is help them become more them.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell them stuff I've learned, but I encourage them to break my rules if they find that that's right. I will let them know these rules have come from a lot of fucking years of experience and thinking, so this is a warning. If you're going to break this rule, there's a reason I say it, but if it works, fuck yeah, the hell with that. I can't, it makes no sense for me to try to teach someone to do what I do. Mm-hmm. One, I couldn't do it very well, and then it would be impersonation. Again, not my jam.
Yeah.
And it's not an effective use of a class time. But I do want to help them get out of their own way and unlock ways to, like, do their thing more. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love with a one-on-one is see, like, to get a sense of, like, where they're trying to go and help them do that. Right. And I'll gladly offer feedback, and I'll put in my spin of suggestions, but they need to play with it and see what works for them.
Right, because you're working with people who have never stepped on stage before, and you're working with people who have been doing this for a while but want to try something
like
else.
Serious folks that just need that outside eye, which we all do sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes I'm working with people who are kick ass, but I mean, you know, Baryshnikov still goes to dance class, I think, so none of us are done. I definitely have asked for, you know, feedback on.
And there's no like burlesque grad school, like there's no higher learning. You it's all peer learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, until colleges start, you know, using it as a as a major.
They do. Well, they do teach it. I don't know about a major, but they do it. And I've done day-long workshops at colleges and all that, which is really fun as well.
Theory and in practice?
Yeah.
Movement
and... Yeah, I try to do theory and practice together.
This is a historical aspect. There's a...
fuck around. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was talking to Aurora North, who is a dancer.
Yes.
And an excellent one at that.
Yeah.
And when we were talking, she was talking about something. I'm like, right, you have to learn all the theory and like the history and like who did what in addition to 2, 3, 4. Like, right. And that, I mean, that's sort of mind-boggling for me only because you think it's not just a skill, it's a backstory to that skill. And as you said, the reason why these things are in place.
Yeah, I think that's just smart to do no matter what. I mean, I support people like taking on skills, but if you're, you know, going to attempt to do aerial, it would be a good idea to like know something about aerialists before you and how it developed and where it came from. If you're taking on tap dancing, there's some loaded fucking history in that. Maybe you should know what you're taking on before you present it so that you can be conscious of that, and then you can make your choices. But you're going to make be a smart person making perhaps intentionally a stupid, silly choice, which is different.
Yes. Now I'm curious about the tenuous history of tap.
Well, whatever. You know, there's a lot of
no, but I'm imagining like
that, and I think there's a lot to like. It's worth considering.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that again
make choices.
Not every act needs to be about that issue.
Yeah.
But no, if you're pressing that button, no, you're going there. And then, you know, act whatever way works for you.
Yeah, actually, when I hope to, when someone has fucked up or has made a mistake, I'm like, no, it looked like a choice. I try to use that as a compliment.
Yep.
When it's accurate.
Yes.
I don't blow
right, yeah.
But,
agreed.
I'm like, no, it's like, no, you recovered well. Or no, the audience thought it was great.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, you'll do better next time. Or no, actually, that looked like a choice.
Yeah.
I only happen to know what it was supposed to be,
right.
or what you meant it to be, because it's supposed to be as loaded. There are acts where the fuck up has become the act.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like the fuck up is a hell of an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, an example that I can draw from is you were there for it at the Silver Tusk Awards. I did an act. And I'm doing an act in front of Joe Boobs.
Yep.
And my glove has a tag in it. And I don't just pull it off with my fingers. I actually do that thing where I roll it off so it's inside out. So I basically presented the tag to Joe. And so I had an opportunity. So I made it a gag, and I ripped off the tag, and I threw it away, and I was like, sorry. So you have to, and the audience was entirely on my side, and I felt really cool about it.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. And I gotta say, at that first Teaserama in New Orleans,
Yeah.
I remember being, with our, old school New York burlesque mafia watch it and seeing that happen.
Oh, yeah.
And all of us it was just a gasp of horror. Like, we didn't even realize it was a rule until we saw it. And it was like, oh,
yeah, and the thing is,
funny.
sometimes rules are just because it doesn't look good. It's just a matter of...
Yeah.
And then again, there are choices. I'm a hobo clown. I'm going to have some labels on my shirt.
Exactly. But it's smart that that produces that, because then you can play with it.
Then you can work with it.
Right.
And that was a moment decision. Something, if I had planned that, I probably would have fucked up the role.
Right, yeah.
There's only so much you can
No, but
play.
those are like beautiful little jewels.
I still get commented on that.
Yeah. That was good. I remember that.
Yeah, it was funny.
I don't remember every glove peel from that night. Again, that's...
Yeah, I have, and I'm not known for my glove peels. I'll take that as a win.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, for inviting me into your home today.
Absolutely.
And inviting me into working with you.
Thank you.
I've had a great time getting to know you through burlesque and today.
Yeah.
Whether it was on the record or not.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Whatever.
It's all fluid.
It's there.
It's there. It's in the air, in the
Yeah.
ephemera. And I hope to continue as I go back and forth. There are friendships and there are people that I've worked with here, and you were one of the reasons that I'm always glad to come back.
Oh, thank you. Likewise, I look forward to that.
And your support has directly led to me feeling like I have a place in this world. You have made me feel more, and to that end, I'm happy to say that I have brought that to other people, that they have said that to me, and I'm like, it's a chain. It's a long... so burlesque people out there listening at home or in the car or on the subway, be kind to each other and be aware, because it is not only just a long-standing history, there's a short-range history. I've only known you for the last 8 years, and it's been a very fruitful 8 years. And I thank you for that.
Likewise. Thank you.
So, listeners at home, I will include in the footnotes of the episode all the ways that you can keep up with Tigger as best you can.
Sure.
As best you can. That includes the
I
Instagrams
get lost
and all
myself
places.
sometimes. I don't know where I am next.
Well, that's why it's really helpful for when the producers tag you. You're like, right, oh fuck, I gotta pack that.
Right, yeah, there you go.
But other than that, thank you so much. And as you always say,
fuck 'em in the heart.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Hey.
Do you like movies?
Any movies. Old movies, new movies,
Bad movies?
sad movies.
I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
And I'm Rachel Corky Shank.
And together we host Screen Snark, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers.
It's a podcast dedicated to the movies that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts.
Featuring guests of a wide selection of entertainment backgrounds, performers, writers, creatives.
So please join us for the casual cinema conversation every other Monday wherever you get your podcast.
And follow us on Twitter at screen_snark, and we'll see you at the movies. All right, we're supposed to do that bit together.
It's cool.